If you were an emo and/or scene kid in the early to mid 2010s like I was, I'd be shocked if you didn't remember My Digital Escape. The whole channel is a time capsule into the subculture from back then, with YouTubers that were all super popular at the time. And even if you're an emo kid today, you'd at least recognize Johnny Gilbert, who's gone on to blow up in popularity in recent years with Jake Weber and Tara Yummy. This group channel went on to leave such a lasting impression, and when it all fell apart, nearly 30-year-old emo kid Brian Stars tried to revive the channel with a cast of new creators, which was swiftly met with a resounding "Please, God, no!" by fans and older My Digital Escape creators alike. However, this channel was filled with people who all have very interesting stories to them, for better or for worse. So, based off of viewer requests, I decided to start a series of the My Digital Escape alumni. And I figured to start with arguably the most infamous of the bunch, Austin Jones. Heavy trigger warning on this one for pedophilia, grooming, and sexual assault/harassment. Take care of yourself first and foremost. These are obviously very heavy topics. Viewer discretion is advised. Austin Henry Jones, better known as just Austin Jones, was born December 12, 1992 in Chicago, Illinois. I wasn't able to find much on his childhood, but in his infamous apology video that will come up later, he mentions that at the age of 6, his 10-year-old sister passed away, and at 8, his parents divorced. His dad was an alcoholic and drug addict, in Austin's words. His dad also passed when Austin was 16. Within 6 months, his dad had passed, his house was broken into, robbed, and set on fire, with his grandfather passing during this time as well. Now, I'm not saying all this to make you pity him, like he tried to use this information to do initially. This was just simply all I can find on his childhood. Although he does reveal in an interview that he danced with a dance company for 13 years of his life, which ends up being horrific foreshadowing. In 2007, when he was 14 years old, he launched his YouTube channel, OzDude Pro, which later would be renamed to just Austin Jones. About 3 years later, in 2010, he started making his own music, releasing his first album, Out of Character, later that same year. Which, if you're a fan of the Ready Set, this just sounds like his attempt at a Tantrum Castle moment. Like, the influence is very heavy. But the rest of his music is very, as Todd in the Shadows would say, white guy with acoustic guitar music. Austin continued to grow on YouTube thanks to his a cappella covers of bands like My Chemical Romance, 21 Pilots, Fall Out Boy, and Panic at the Disco, otherwise known as the Tumblr emo quartet of the mid-2010s. Which I'm sure for some of you hearing the term emo quartet triggered some sort of fight or flight response. It's what I do best. In addition to his YouTube channel, he had also gained a following on Vine, which I pray I don't have to actually explain because I will not be made to feel old at 24. But as if the time frame wasn't obvious enough, he was part of the My Digital Escape group channel, which was everything to 13-year-old me. His time with My Digital Escape was rather brief, as the channel launched in late 2014 and Austin was removed in 2015 during the initial wave of allegations. Throughout his short-lived fame on the internet, Austin became a full-fledged musician, dropping out of Columbia College around late 2013, early 2014 to pursue his music full-time. Other than that, his career wouldn't really be that much of note. This is where our background ends and Austin's downfall begins. Now, before we dive into this, in order to find out more information about Austin, I had watched a few interviews from around the height of his career, and some of my favorite parts included this interview from Ali O, where he says this.
If your life was a song, what would be the title?
It would probably be a song called Constipated.
Which was funny, because the second he said that, I was like, oh, it's because he's full of shit. Or in this interview, where he gives very hypocritical views on his relationship with his fans.
Definitely some fans that when you meet them, they cross a boundary and like think they can do things to artists for like no reason. Like when I'm meeting you, like don't you know, like don't, like we're not on that level. I'm sorry. Like I get it, you're a fan and everything, but why does that make you feel entitled to grabbing my, you know, stuff like that? That's just like, ugh.
Going back from where we left off, in 2015, fellow YouTuber D Fizzy, aka Damon as I'll be referring to him as, was set to be part of 2015 Van's Warped Tour alongside Austin being one of the many YouTubers joining them. While Damon and Austin were in similar YouTube circles, he really didn't know who Austin was, and decided to look him up and learn a bit about him before going on tour. This would prove to be the beginning of the end for Austin. After seeing some suspicious comments made about him that set off alarm bells in Damon's head, he decided to dig deeper. In Damon's video that he made in 2017, he gives us screenshots of tweets that he found at the time of girls talking about how Austin Jones would ask them for twerk videos and nudes, with the earliest tweet being shown being from March of 2013, and the ages of these girls ranged from 11 to 14. Damon decided to do the right thing, compiling all the evidence and forwarding it to the owner of the tour and the owner of one of the venues. Unfortunately, this would originally backfire for him. The email he would receive from the owner of the Warped Tour was definitely a bit sketchy, to say the least, but nowhere near as bad as the venue owner, which we'll get to in a bit. The first email reads, "Damon, is there anything truly illegal? Like downright evil shit? That is what I need. The twerking videos were lame, but not evil. I need stuff that will put him in jail, because it is going there and you will have to testify. Thanks." And if he knew it was going there, why even keep him on the tour? Unless if I'm reading the email wrong or misinterpreting it, who knows. But our lovely venue owner from Wisconsin absolutely went off on Damon, accusing him of being a cyberbully, saying that if Austin were their kid, they'd be going after Damon legally and shut him down, calling him a predator, and trying to discredit all the proof as edited, faked, or just simply fangirls making claims. This person would also go on to pay for Austin's therapy, according to Damon, as he would end up using threats of suicide to gain favor in the public eye. In a text conversation, Austin even says if he did do it, that it would be on Damon's hands. That's so sick. Austin would even reach out to Damon through text, something that the venue owner would later try to say was faked. And in one of these messages, Austin says, quote, "We all know everyone has sides to them like this. What's the shock? F***ing pardon? Speak for yourself, man. Everyone don't find videos of underage girls twerking to be attractive in any form, and I believe most people don't either. That's also just something you shouldn't be attracted to, like, at all. But I'm preaching to the choir here." While there was a Change.org petition going on to remove Austin from the 2015 Warped Tour, Damon actually ended up originally being taken off the tour's lineup without being notified, and he had to have a whole meeting to try and get back on the tour, where he was told that he was to set up a phone call with Austin and apologize to him. Other people on the tour were also told to watch Austin's apology video, which is a whole dumpster fire we're about to get into. Ultimately, both Damon and Austin got to stay on the tour, but Austin would end up dropping out after the upload of this apology. Within the first 30 seconds of this apology video, we get Austin's claims that, after this video, opinions of him would be based on
of the full story and the truth.
He also just looks so pissed in this video. Like, I can see through the barely concealed rage. Everything is covered in such a layer of passive aggressiveness, like where he says,
And someone that's very popular on social media somehow found this out and decided to blast it out there.
He also tries to act like such a saint for not wanting to name any names because he, quote, came under attack on social media from his name being spread around, and I don't want to put that on anyone else. He also tries to downplay everything that happened in this video, saying,
Nothing ever went further than twerking videos. There were never any nudes, never any physical contact. It never happened.
Now, this is probably going to be such a niche reference for those of you that don't watch my videos on various internet horror genres, but the way he said that kind of reminded me of this clip from Squimpus McGrimpus's FNAF VHS analog horror series, which, speaking of inappropriate contact with minors, light fell. My light doesn't like Squimpus McGrimpus. But anyways, it reminded me of this clip.
Fredbear does not exist. Spring Bonnie does not exist. Nothing happened to anyone.
So, as a result of everything coming out while Austin was on a completely separate tour, he decided to cut the tour short and head back home immediately after that night's show, which, oh my gosh, imagine that bus ride home if he had a full crew. Like, he was a fairly small solo artist in the grand scheme of things, so more realistically, it was probably a small van or an RV, or if he did have a tour bus, I'm sure the entire crew was staying in there. That's awkward as hell, but that's on him. While heading home, he tells us that, quote, "The hate got to me, so I started researching different suicide methods." Like, not to sound totally heartless here, but boo-hoo, pedo got caught. Like, what, am I supposed to feel sorry for you? But at this point, he did still have a shocking amount of defenders, and it definitely, if anything were to happen, would have been blamed on Damon. So it was ultimately better that things worked out that way. As for why it took him a while to put out an initial statement on the matter, Austin claims that his family immediately checked him into a hospital the second he got home for suicidal thoughts. And then we get a very Dr. Doofenshmirtz-esque backstory monologue from him. He tells us he's not excusing his actions with this, but he's merely explaining them. But it's not a great explanation, as you'll see. This is where he tells us about his sister, his dad, his grandfather, his house, and for some reason, the fact that he went to a lot of funerals as a kid, but mostly for distant relatives or people that he didn't even know who they were. But like, me too? This has nothing to do with anything. I fear that's almost just a regular childhood experience at that point. After this lore dump, he tells us that when he was 16 years old, he started to self-harm, which he claimed to be 3 years clean from at the time, which he tries to flex on us with. Like, I'm always down to celebrate anybody being clean from self-harm, but right now, I don't care, and I don't think anybody does.
I didn't do anything to you.
You know what? I'm about to say it. I don't care that you broke your elbow.
He claimed that he asked his fans for these videos because he was, quote, "desperate for attention, for reassurance. I wanted to feel good about myself." And that he thought the twerking videos were just simply fun and goofy, saying how he was young and stupid, which he was 23 when he filmed this video. At the end of this video, he puts out a final bid for pity by saying how he had guilt festering in him before he publicly apologized for it, and how he wanted to address this earlier, but a friend talked him out of it, saying what he did, quote, "wasn't even that bad." Birds of a feather, I suppose. So we got the apology, and Austin goes back to a slightly smaller fan base and doesn't ever do this again, right? Right? So Austin's not-so-subtle threats of suicide actually ended up working for the most part, with one of the victims stating in a BuzzFeed News article, the controversy, quote, "kind of died down after Austin pulled the 'I almost committed suicide' about it. I stopped tweeting because I was like, okay, I don't want to be the cause of that." Another girl who had made a video on her experience with Austin, which has since become unlisted, so I'm not sure if I should link to it. I'm not going to. It's not too hard to find, but I don't know, it's probably unlisted for a reason. But she said, "Once Jones emerged from the controversy effectively unscathed, she had to stop thinking about him. It was too upsetting to see his rise. He continued to book national tours. He was making money off the girls he was targeting. Just thinking about it, I cannot." But even with the controversy dying down and the money rolling in, and effectively being given a second chance, Austin was back on his bullshit. Here's where our court documents play a heavy part in our information, and I will be reading the accounts of 6 victims outlined in the plea agreement documents. He was only able to be convicted for victim A, so for legal reasons, B through F are like alleged, but they're in court documents. I don't know how that all works. I'm not a lawyer. While these are not listed in chronological order, they are listed in the order that they appear in the court documents. These all take place from August 2016 to May 2017, aka way after his so-called apology. Let's get into them. So I want to put in a warning here that all those trigger warnings from before come into full effect here. I don't really go quote for quote on things, so the language will be a little less intense, but it's still very gross and was kind of hard for when I was looking through them, so let's get into them. Our first incident takes place in May of 2017, with victim A being just 14 at the time. Austin had coerced her into making a twerking video for him where he tells her to mention her age out loud during the entire video. He referred to these videos as an audition of some kind for a modeling gig, a common lie he uses from victim to victim. Austin instructs her to send the video through iMessage as opposed to Facebook Messenger, where the conversation began, where victim A expresses that she doesn't even know how to use iMessage. That was one of the many lines that I read where I had to sit back and take a breather for a bit. Something about, like, she doesn't even know how to use iMessage. Like, it's little things like that that kind of reiterate, yeah, this was a child. Along with instructing her how to make the video and what to say, he would also tell her how to dress. He had her sending videos late into the night, on a school night too, and when she mentioned she was tired and didn't want to make anymore, he continued to pressure her that she needed to, quote, take this seriously, and asking if she was giving up. He also expressed a lack of stimulation, for lack of a better term. Some of these things are just super gross that I don't feel super comfortable saying out loud, word for word. Like, it's not even from a I'm gonna get censored by YouTube type thing. It's more of a, aw, that's gross and depressing. So I will leave the court documents in the description if you want to read and go into a little more research about it. But all in all, she ended up sending him 15 videos. This account takes place in August 2016 with yet another 14-year-old girl he'd begun communicating with on Facebook Messenger. He had her make videos under the guise of proving that she was his biggest fan. He directed her videos like with victim A, with a strange emphasis on getting videos of her butthole. Like, I know men are dogs is a common term, but holy shit, is he actually a fucking dog? Like, I've never seen anyone with such an obsession with somebody's butthole. Like, he even says, quote, I have to see your butthole to know for sure that you care 100%. He even uses it as fodder to make her feel special, saying, quote, I bet you had no idea that when you met me that just one day later you get to show me your butthole. How special do you feel? And there were other parts where Austin tried to make victim B feel special, like in this exchange. Jones, wait, you're 14? Victim B, yeah, I'm a youngster. Jones, do you realize how lucky you are? I seriously shouldn't even be talking to you. Victim B, why? Jones, because you're young. Victim B, you're young too though. Jones, I'm 23! Victim B ended up sending Austin around 25 videos total, which, by the way, had to be reviewed by actual people. Like, I know that's kind of like a, yeah, no shit moment, but going through the official complaint document, we see a Homeland Security special agent referring to these specific videos with the words, I reviewed before them. Something about that just hit me as other people needing to watch these videos for investigation and in other investigations as well, and I cannot begin to imagine what kind of toll that takes on somebody. Our third victim was 14 years old in October of 2016 when Jones began communicating with them, and was 15 when they stopped contact April 2017. He asked for videos under the modeling opportunity lie that he loved to use, and in this conversation, we see what kind of relationship victim C thinks they have versus Austin's just straight up evil intentions. Victim C mentions to Austin how she had to, quote, fight the urge to cut last night because I promised you I wouldn't do it anymore. He responds to this with a request for another video showing her butthole. Like, this in particular showcases the types of relationships he would form with these girls, having them open up to him, trust him, like most teenage girls would to a singer they idolize, all for him just to abuse that trust and use it for his own gain. Victim D's story takes place in April of 2017. From here on out, these accounts get shorter, but I wanted to give them time and space nonetheless. Austin Jones reached out to Victim D through Facebook Messenger yet again under the guise of a modeling opportunity. The 15-year-old began making videos for Austin, and she expressed that she had to finish the videos tomorrow as she had school in the morning. To this he responds, 5 more videos. When she asked, tomorrow, right? He said, no, right now. Then we do the rest tomorrow. He clearly did not see these girls as humans. He saw them as tools to churn out the videos he wanted. In March of 2017, we get our account of Victim E. This was another case of a 15-year-old communicating with Austin via Facebook Messenger. Like a couple of victims prior, Victim E sends Austin a twerking video that he requested, and after he requests another video, she expressed that she was tired. Austin followed up by laying the guilt on thick. Too bad you can't make videos right now, cause then we can't find out if you could make me hard or not. As a compromise, victim E asks if she can send other pictures or videos she has, and he agreed, but expressed a preference for videos made on the spot. This account took place 1 month after victim E, where Austin manipulated yet another 15-year-old girl into sending him videos via Facebook Messenger by telling her it was a modeling opportunity to get a lot of Instagram followers. He had victim F take videos of her chest and told her to keep repeating lines that included mentioning her age. These are all of the accounts included in the plea documents, but keep in mind, these all came way after he was initially exposed back in 2015. This is just the tip of the iceberg of what we know. According to court documents, there were about 30 other instances that were not mentioned in detail. These messages were all found and tied to Austin Jones through a Homeland Security Investigations, or HSI as they're referred to in the court documents, summons to Comcast, Facebook, and Apple. And his address was verified through his driver's license, confirmation from the United States Postal Inspector to verify that he was still there and receiving mail at that address, and his passport that was issued in 2014. Around June 9th, 2017, a United States magistrate judge signed off on a search warrant for Austin's house, and the search warrant was executed by HSI around June 12th, 2017. At O'Hare International Airport that same day, Jones was stopped by Customs and Border Control and HSI, where he consented to a search of his phone, signing off on a consent form, and was arrested and interviewed by HSI. There seems to be no footage online of this interview, but it was recorded. During this interview, he admitted to, quote, have sexually explicit chats with minor females, admitted to requesting and receiving videos from those females, and admitting viewing those videos for the purpose of sexual pleasure. After a June 15th, 2017 court hearing, Austin was able to go home on house arrest after posting a $100,000 bond, where he was then released into his mother's custody. During trial, he pleaded guilty to 1 count of receipt of child pornography and was sentenced to 10 years behind bars on May 3rd, 2019. A little under 2 weeks later, DFizzy uploaded his video that I referenced earlier, outing those who had been complicit in covering up for Austin. His earliest possible release date is December 31st, 2027, which is a little too close for comfort. He's currently being held at FCI Loretto in Pennsylvania. In addition to 10 years, he was also required to be a lifetime registrant on the sex offender registry. During all of this, Facebook took down his account 2 years prior to the trial in mid-May of 2017, and YouTube ended up taking his account down as well, but seems to have been put back up recently-ish. All of his videos seem to have the comments turned off and his profile pictures removed, but yeah, it's the original channel, alright. I'm not sure where the monetization from these videos are going to, if they're even monetized at all, and it seems to have popped back up with no one really noticing. Like, it wasn't until I started making this video that I was like, well, I'm sure his stuff is well archived. I look it up, his channel's already, it's back, it's there. I'm like, I thought it was taken down. Throughout researching this video, I found many old clips of meet and greets, interviews, shows, but this one clip in particular made me more upset than I expected. He's doing a Q&A during one of his shows, and suddenly people come out to him with a birthday cake and balloons, and everyone in the venue sings happy birthday to him. Like, he had all this. He was so loved, and he threw it all away for what? This type of thing is something people would kill to have. I would love to have this someday, and it's so disheartening that he took advantage and treated his audience the way he did. It's just so depressing seeing your favorite people from your most formative teen years turning out to be such garbage humans. Austin Jones, Brian Stars, mostly every pop punk band I grew up listening to. It's saddening to see more and more coming out during the years and not being able to quite enjoy these things like I used to. Like, sure, I could still listen to those bands or watch older YouTube videos, but it has a dark cloud hanging over it now. Like, I tried the whole separate the art from the artist thing and try to listen in ways where it doesn't financially support them, but the little bit of extra effort I had to go through is so not worth it. And even then, it's still hard to enjoy because I feel the weight of what they did hanging over it. Not to sound like Shane Empath Dawson here, but I also feel like it comes with the weight of their victims' pain. I'm not gonna lie, this video was a bit difficult to research. There were a few times where I had to take breaks from reading documents as it just disgusted me beyond belief. I feel like his sentence is definitely light, but I'm also of the opinion that pedophiles should be locked up forever. So if you or someone you know is going through something similar to this, I'm gonna leave some resources in the description. You're not alone, and you deserve to let your voice and your story be heard. This ended up being a way darker video than I intended. Like, yes, I knew what he did, but it had been like probably 2017 the last time I truly looked into it, like when D50 uploaded his video. So I was 16 then, so like, yeah, I knew it was f***ed up then, but seeing it again with my slightly older eyes, it was just so weird. Like, but also, Austin used to follow me on Twitter back in the day, so, but I was always too nervous to message him, or even I, at the age of 13, was like, oh, damn, I'm too young to talk to him. Like, that fucking sucks. Good thing one of us had common sense, but unfortunately it wasn't the one that needed it the most. But there you have it. Episode 1 of the My Digital Escape members deep dive. Let me know which member of My Digital Escape you want me to do a deep dive in on next. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Next video, I hope to be a little more lighthearted. I do like making the nostalgia content, even though most people that have been coming to my channel recently really do like this type of content. So I will keep this type of content coming because I do like researching and seeing what people are up to. So these types of videos will still be here. And if you like this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I will hopefully see you in the next video. Bye!